to your team, specifically because, you're only talking about carrying 48 on game day. And so if you got a guy that can play multiple roles and do multiple things for you, it gives you a lot of flexibility on game day.
It's almost like carrying an extra player.
Yeah, a little bit, yeah. Certainly is.
Coach, you guys look pretty solid on goal line, all three levels. Your take on that? I mean, is it something good or something offensive to work on more?
Well, I'll go back and look at the tape. I felt like the defense had a really good day today. I think that's an area that, we have to be good at, both offensively and defensively. The field shrinks down there, so there's not as many windows for the offense to get the ball into. And certainly defensively, the tighter you get to the goal line, the more precise you have to be in terms of your fits in the run game and in terms of your coverage responsibilities.
Jameis Winston returned to team drills. Just what was it like to see him back out there and how you assess?
Yeah, look, it was good. It was good. A little rusty, but yet good to get him back out there and get him back going again. So I think anytime we get a guy back from an injury, it's good to have him back out on the field.
Obviously, there was a good number of people missing today. Is this kind of the point in camp where it's a lot of maintenance, where you're just trying to make sure people are in the right kind of state heading into?
Yeah, look, that's part of it. Part of it is that we are in that point in camp, and you do have a lot of little, nicks and bruises and things of that nature that you have to kind of battle through. It's the nature of training camp. It's been that way everywhere I've ever been, and we're dealing with a little bit of it now.
At this point in camp, I'm just wondering, kind of big picture, what would you say now are the biggest differences in being a head coach this time to last time? Is it you, or is it the organization, or the roster, or a little bit of all of it?
It's probably a little bit of all of it.
Yeah.
The biggest difference is just the familiarity with me and the organization. And when I say organization, I'm talking about players, coaches, administration, the owner. The familiarity, me with them and them with me. I think that's probably the biggest difference.
How would you say it's affected, maybe you don't like to talk about expectations, but would you say it's affected your expectations relative to like the last time you went into a training camp as a head coach?
Well, your expectations are always to win.
Yeah.
I'm certainly going into this with more familiarity with what I have, so I think the picture's a little bit clearer to me now. But certainly, we're still in training camp, still have a long way to go. But I think we've got a pretty good squad, and I'm excited about getting going this season.
Is it fair to say that the roster looks a little deeper, stronger this year than last year, if you're lucky with health or not?
Look, I mean, honestly, let's let the games play out. You know what I mean? Because we can all sit here and say what we want to right now, but until you start playing the games and let it play out in front of you, it's really just a lot of talk. So we're just going to focus on getting better, and I think we're doing a good job of that.
Dennis, do you count to where Davenport is that he can contribute? I'm not even going to say the first game, but like by the month of September.
Well, he's getting better. He's kind of incorporating himself back into some of the team activities and things. So that's been a positive. I think there's still some hurdles that we got to get over for him, but certainly everything's progressing in the right direction.
Yeah, can you tell us a little bit about what you've seen from Erik McCoy so far over the course of camp and preseason?
Well, look, I would say probably the best thing is that nobody's really talked about him, and that's usually a good thing if you're an offensive lineman. Usually when you're an offensive lineman and you're getting talked a lot about, that's not necessarily always a good thing. So that just speaks to kind of the consistent nature of the player. I think he's a good player for us, and certainly glad we got him. Okay, thanks, guys.
Kirk, how you like getting those reps in the running back role there?
I like it a lot. Obviously, it's new to me. It's only second day, but I mean, I like it so far.
Kirk, go back to your veteran days as a running back again.
Oh yeah. Yeah, I haven't really taken a handoff since high school, so 2015. So yeah.
It's a big learning curve for you to, halfway through camp, three-quarters way through camp, go to running back and try to learn that position.
Yeah, I mean, as much as I can before the game and stuff like that. So, I mean, just trying to learn that, and as well as just keep up with receivers and stuff like that.
What's the biggest hurdle right now getting back to getting used to that?
To the running back?
Yes.
Really just the protection and all that stuff. So, really just trying to listen to coach and see what I got to do.
Protection is in
Blocking and where the run is supposed to go and stuff like that, how the line is moving, go off of the linebackers, stuff like that.
What kind of your thoughts when they brought it to your attention that you'll be doing that?
I mean, I liked it. I mean, obviously I said before that I'd do anything, to make the team and whatnot.
Did they talk to you about how like Ty Montgomery and some other guys have done similar things?
Oh yeah, for sure. Yes, sir. They did tell me that Ty Montgomery did similar, same thing before.
And they liked it. They liked the
Yes, sir.
concepts. Could you just for a second go back to the last time you did take snaps at running back, even in high school? What were your favorite memories or highlights? I mean, do you feel like you were really good at it?
Yeah, I was pretty good at it. I started playing football when I was 6, so it's always been running back all the way up to high school. Played a little bit of receiver then, but highlights. You saying like highlights of games or whatnot?
Yeah, I mean, like remember the longest run?
The longest run probably against Honville, rivalry game. I think it was like top 5 back then, like in the country rivalry game. So probably against Honville, and we don't like them. So.
Saw you doing some blitz pickup drills yesterday. Is that pretty natural for you, or is that an area where you kind of got to get used to it again?
Blitz pickup?
Yeah.
Yeah, that's pretty much, yeah. I like to block a lot, so that's good.
Kirk, so how are you split your time then right now? Did you go like switch from exclusively in the receiver meeting to exclusively running back? You still?
I'm going back and forth, but right now it's just running back right now.
Yeah.
Yes, sir.
Or is there an obvious difference besides the fact that instead of blocking cornerbacks, you're blocking, linebackers and bigger defensive linemen when it comes to blocking as a wide receiver and blocking as a running back?
I mean, it's different. I mean, obviously you're going against smaller guys, but now you're going against bigger guys like 250 and whatnot. But I mean, off of special teams and learning off of that, so I mean, I can take it to the running back stuff.
Who would you say are some of the tougher guys to block from the running back position?
56. 56 definitely. Davis. Yep.
How much does the familiarity with Joel Thomas help in this transition back to the running back? And what are some of the things he's telling you?
It's great. Obviously, he recruited me, coming out of high school, but he's making me, feel comfortable back there, and just teaching me like the footwork and all that good stuff.
When you watched the game the other night, what did you like about how you played and what did you not like?
I liked about the return. That was good. Great blocking on that. Offense, I felt like I could have did a little bit more, but I mean, obviously, 1% better each and every week. So.
Is there specifics that Coach Thomas is working with you right now to just get you up to speed, and what are those?
Really just the footwork and how to move like a running back. I mean, I'm just following. 2 great football running backs. I mean, obviously Alvin and Mark Ingram. So just trying to follow their lead.
Yeah, have you been picking their brain?
Oh yeah, definitely. Just where the hole's supposed to hit, and I mean, obviously we about to go to film today. So first time in the running back room. So I'm gonna ask a lot of questions.
Was the conversation, because they may have more depth at receiver and less at running back, how did it go when they approached you about doing this?
Really, they came to me and they said I was going to be with the running backs this week. So, I mean, I don't know. I'm all great for it, so I'm grateful for this opportunity.
Is that after the game, or had this been a plan for a little while?
I think it was after the game. When did we get back? Saturday, so it's Saturday, around there, yeah.
And do you think some of it's too because this offense has some of its roots in the West Coast, where I mean running backs do run routes and catch passes, and so that your experience kind of lends itself to that thing?
Yeah, I think so. Obviously, we got a lot of playmakers in the backfield and a lot of playmakers at receiver, so I mean, there's a lot of balls to be thrown around and stuff. So, I mean, I'm excited to see what's in store.
You looking forward to playing in the Dome?
Oh yeah, first time. I mean, second time, but first time in a New Orleans Saints jersey. So I'm excited.
Can you remind me, so when Joel Thomas recruited you, you were being recruited to play
Running back and receiver. Yeah. Yes, sir.
Then you just ended up focusing more on receiver.
Yes, sir. All right. Thank you.
No, I mean,
all right.
go.
What's up, y'all?
How's the weather changed today?
The weather, yeah. You know, Louisiana has his flavor, and you know, we practiced in Green Bay all last week, and it's different out here. It's much different, but you know, it pays off. It conditions us really, really well, and yeah, we got after it today.
Erik, after watching the tape against Green Bay, kind of what were some of your impressions of how you played, and just kind of where you want to work on things?
Yeah, I think I played really well. There's always some things to clean up on and to be better, and definitely work the technique a lot better. But I think overall, through practice, in training camp, and in these preseason games, that I played well.
Erik, what was your impression of this defense from the outside, and what attracted it to you?
Yeah, you know, just being around the league, I've always known the Saints defense to be tough, to be fast, to be physical, and to be really a defensive team. Even though the offense has been traditionally really well, it's really a defensive team, and I'm really glad to be a part of that. And since I've been here, I think my skill sets fit well with this scheme. So it's great to to be on the team with guys like Cam, guys like Marshawn who play really hard, and even though they play hard, they're super smart. The football IQ is really there, so it's great to be around those guys.
Erik, how important is it for you to continue, like back-to-back games, you got a takeaway, or you force a turnover?
Yeah, ball production is huge. For defense and for our room as linebackers to be around the ball, get the ball out, and even if it's, I didn't catch, the interception the first game, but I tipped the pass, and, Chase caught the interception, so it's great to be able to, produce those game-changing turnovers for our team.
How settled in do you feel? Is everything pretty natural now, or are you still thinking a lot out there, or just kind of playing at this point?
Yeah, I think we've done a great job on our installs, and Coach Hodges does a great job of just teaching us where our eyes should be, what techniques should we use in certain situations. So now, yeah, playing a lot faster, not having to think, kind of taking the advanced step, and then now knowing what I'm supposed to do, but now reading the offense so I can play that much better. Yeah.
Is anything about Hodges' process different than some of the other coaches you've had?
I think he's just a really good teacher. Really not, he's pretty intense in terms of he's passionate. So, he's played, linebacker before, so I think that helps a lot in transitioning his play into teaching us.
Erik, how are you approaching being a veteran? How are you approaching this week, trying to get a spot on this team as a veteran? Last exhibition game right before the season?
Yeah, well, my mindset is just to get better each and every day. Pick something to get better at each and every day, focus on that, and continually stack those days and get better and better and better and better. And, over time, you're that much better, and you're that much ready for, the regular season.
You guys look pretty solid on the goal line today.
Yeah. It's a mentality. You have to change your mentality in those situations and to really deny them. They can't run the ball on us. They're not going to throw the ball on us, so they're going to have to kick the field goal if they can kick the field goal, because we're really trying to get the ball back. We don't want them to get any points.
Yesterday was your first practice as a Saint in the Superdome, but one, was it the first time you've ever been in the Superdome, and two, what is it like just to kind of toe the line and step foot on that turf, being a new guy on the team?
Yeah, so I've played in the Superdome before, and I really like the Superdome. It's a great atmosphere. The fans were there yesterday. They brought their energy in, which the fans around here are super passionate, and I love that. To play for a good fan base in a good city and a really good organization, it's awesome. So, it was great being out there. I remember as I was just stretching, we were doing our warm-up, and I was just looking up, and I was just like really just grateful for the opportunity to be a part of, you know, something special.
When you were at Cincinnati, where you played there?
No, when I was with the Vikings, we played here before. Yeah.
Christmas Day.
Yeah.
How have you just seen Necky pick things up, and what's he like behind the scenes?
Yeah, Nephi is you know, super smart, super instinctual player. He's super passionate, and his attention to detail is tremendous. So he's really good. He's learning really well.
Yes, sir.
Appreciate y'all. Peace.
How y'all doing? Good.
Paulson, how do you feel, you know, one preseason game left and the work you put in at Green Bay and all those team periods, and where are you at now heading into the season?
How do I feel about Green Bay?
Yeah, just your practice, how you developing, and
yeah, I thought it was good to go up against a different team, see different tendencies, different players, and then just coming back, just kind of still trying to work. We know we have work to do, but we feel good about where we are and going into the season.
Also, what do you think the kind of the defining trait of this defense is?
Defining trait. I think just being able to challenge our opponents every play, not having a weak spot as far as D-line, linebackers, DBs. We feel like we're a complete unit, so just being a complete unit that can kind of dominate the other side of the ball.
Obviously, the defense did really well last year, especially with the top 5 ranking. Are there any particular reasons you can cite why it could be better this year?
I mean, I think we got a lot of guys back. We lost some guys, but I feel like we have a lot of new guys that can come in and do exactly what we did last year, so I don't see any reason why we can't be as good, if not better.
One of the receivers was saying the other day that it feels like when they're going up against you, like it seems like you can cut down some of their routes that they're running as opposed to last year maybe there's more. Like, do you feel like you can kind of anticipate things better, and just that knowledge, is it helping you make more plays?
Yeah, I think naturally, after you have a whole year under your belt, you feel more comfortable and you're able to decipher things a little bit quicker. So that probably is some of that, what they're seeing.
So what's an example, like being able to decipher, like what are you looking for when you're trying to sort through that?
Just in general, I mean, if you've been in a situation more than once, then you can kind of anticipate what's going to happen, formations or splits.
Paulson, I see your shirt says episode 1. Are you kind of like episode 1 for the Saints is 20 days away against the Falcons? Are you kind of a guy who just goes one game at a time, like one task at a time? You're just focusing on Atlanta and that first game, or do you kind of think about?
Probably more so Friday Chargers, but yeah, definitely to your point, just kind of focus on what's ahead for sure.
At this point, with Dennis continuing to kind of oversee defense, are there any ways in which you can tell there's kind of been this? I mean, some people from the outside would see it as like a major regime change just because Sean Payton is such a huge personality. But can you tell there's been regime changes from what you're doing as part of this defense?
Yeah, I think for me, I mean, I only had the luxury of being here for a year, so it's not like I can really tell, the longevity of how it was compared to what it is now. For me, it feels mostly the same. So, yeah, sorry, I don't think I can help.
Thank you, man.
Appreciate you.
Good.
I think he was right.
Yeah. Thank you. Thank you. Big weather adjustment today. How did it go?
Oof. No, it's just right. It was a big weather adjustment. Green Bay was just so cool. Weather was nice. I'm not going to complain. This is where we spent camp. It was a little shock coming back to it.
How did it feel to get James back in the huddle doing some team drills today?
I loved it. He's always a good voice to have around, a good leader to have around, and just a good vibe keeper in general to have around. So it was nice having him back.
What have you kind of seen from him just over these last couple of weeks as he progresses?
He's a baller. That's all I can say. I'm a big Jameis Winston fan. I know he's been out probably the last week or so with his foot. I don't really know. But Jameis is a baller. Big fan, great leader, great person, and I'm excited for him this year.
Erik, would you be comfortable with him, his first start since the injury, to be in a regular season game at Atlanta, or would you want him maybe to play a series against the Chargers?
I'm confident. Whatever, Coach Allen and Coach Carmichael decide with whatever they want to do with him, I'm confident in him either way. He can go.
How much trust, so to say, do you think you have to, kind of following up on that, shake off maybe with all these new guys and Jameis? So do you feel like there isn't much rust?
I don't feel like there is much rust. Throughout camp this year, I've got more accustomed to Jameis than I have been in the past. Just because, with my injury last year, his injury last year, we didn't have that many plays together. But camp this year, we've really kind of got to mesh up until, his recent injury.
Erik, I know you got to be positive being an offensive lineman, but where is the stronger suit right now? I think the run game or the toss game?
Oh, geez. I'm a big proponent of the run game, so that's always what I've got to say. Just gotta love running the football. Very short answer, but run game.
It wouldn't be to just run 80 screens a game and let you get out there.
Oh God, I would be so winded if we ran more than 7.
I don't think we talked to you after the Texas game, or if I could be wrong. Can you just talk about that screen that y'all ran for, I think it was you and Andrus out in the backfield? How good is your vision unit at kind of getting downfield and setting the spot?
Yeah, that's one thing that I can say that I'm really happy about having Pete back. He's great in the screen game, great in the run game. Just know that I'm going to have a guy out there that's going to go make his block and we can spring big runs. Something that I'm excited for. Big screens, runs, whatever you want to call them. Something that I'm excited for.
Coach said that you haven't been talked about a lot over camp, which is a good thing for an offensive lineman. How do you think camp has been for you, or what has been something you're doing well and working on?
I would say it's going well. Definitely still areas that I need to improve. A big point of emphasis for me this year is just my first step. I feel like I've improved there, so I've gotten better as a player naturally because of that. Like I said, there's still lots of room for improvement. I still have too much wasted movement in my stance, too many false steps, stuff that I have to get better at, and that I plan on doing through these next couple of days.
How would you assess where the offensive line as a whole compared to day one of training camp to now, and Henning kind of working in with you all?
I would say we're growing. We're growing together and meshing together every day as a unit. And like you said, with Penning coming in, it's something new for us with the ones. Just trying to make sure we're all on the same page. But I would definitely say that we're growing and progressing as a unit.
How has Coach Marone been? Obviously, you all have been pleased with what you had here, but with a new coach, especially somebody who's kind of been there as a head coach, just how has that been for you all? Has it been easy?
I wouldn't say easy is the word, but we love having Coach Marone in the room. Very detail-oriented guy. He really, really hones in on this first step that I was talking about. And that's something that I've never really had to consciously think about until now. I've never really been coached on it. I feel like that's the same thing for a lot of guys. Taking up new coaching points and moving on with them. Like I said, we love having them in the room.
Has that been big for the younger guys, in particular Caesar, having that sort of finer point of coaching?
Yeah. Not just Caesar. I would say all of us. There's things that all of us have had to get better at and need to get better at still. But just taking that day-by-day progression has been huge.
How long does it take to incorporate something like that into your game?
The first step.
Breaking habits you had.
So I've been false stepping with my first step since I've been playing center. So I would say that I'm still working on it, but I definitely see the improvement. Maybe like every other step will be a false step, or every third step will be a false step instead of doing it every time. But it's really something that I have to think about.
Erik, considering that he played every snap on the offensive line, Cesar Ruiz last year, seems like he's getting a lot of playing time in preseason.
Mm-hmm.
When you're looking for familiar faces, he's out there even in the second half, well into the second half. So the question being, is that just to help his development, or what is his mindset about having to play this much before the season starts?
Second half or second quarter? Because he didn't play the second half last game. He played second quarter.
Just all the time.
Yeah. I think it's just a room for improvement. Yeah, that's all there is to it. Just room for improvement, room for growth.
I apologize if you've explained this already, but
yeah, go ahead.
Some of the challenges that this line faced last year in run blocking, with all the turnover, I don't know if you can compare like 20 to 21, whether you hope to get back, or sense you're getting back more to the 20 running game, if you have more continuity in the line. Can you envision or hope for that happening?
Yeah, like last year we didn't, I'm not going to say we didn't mesh together well, but we just had a lot of turnover in the offensive line room, in the running back room, in the quarterback room. And when you just have that much turnover, it's hard to get something going. So we're hoping and praying that everybody stays healthy this year. And even if we don't, we have to have the next man up mentality. And I'll always say that. But I definitely think that we can get back to our 20 running game.
Yeah, being a dominant running team like you were.
Oh, yeah.
Can you, at this point in training camp, can you kind of tell that there's been this, what would seem from the outside to be a significant regime change, just because of how big Sean Payton's personality and influence was in the team, and now, it's like, on one hand, there's a lot of continuity because he's still here, but on the other hand, the guy in charge is a different guy.
Yeah. I would definitely say it's a little bit of a change. Going from more of an offensive-minded head coach to defensive-minded head coach. A lot of the personnel has stayed the same, but it's a change, just a little bit about how we, go about things. That's all I'm going to say. Because, it's just different. But it's a good different. It's a good different.
Yeah, there's different ways to accomplish the same thing, but like, you still feel like, I guess, Sean had a way of kind of a knack for understanding where his players were at and trying to infuse people with confidence and keeping people on their toes at the same time. Do you still feel like there's a lot of that in the building, or is it?
Yeah, no doubt. I agree. Yeah, no doubt at all. I love DA. I think that he definitely pushes us to be a lot better as an offense. Like just even the small things, even the details, even like the pre-snap penalties. Like he's pushing us to be so much better in that area, and really putting emphasis on not beating ourselves, which is something I think carried over heavily from the defensive room. And it's something that we've all incorporated and we're rolling with now.
Erik, I know it's a tough part of the offseason, but like with roster cuts being inevitable, what advice can you give to like some of these younger guys on the bubble, as they approach these last 20 days before the regular season?
Yeah, I would say just put your best stuff on tape in the preseason games. You never know who's watching. Well, you do know who's watching. All 31 other teams are watching you. So don't get down on yourself and play every rep like somebody else is watching.
You said OGs as if you don't like thinking about it.
Huh?
You said OGs as if you don't like thinking about it.
Oh yeah, no, it's my least favorite time of the year. You have guys that come in the locker room. You become really good friends with them over the course of a month or two, and then they're gone. But it's the business part of it. I get it, but that doesn't mean that you have to like it.
Thanks,
Good,
Erik.
appreciate it.
Wait for the Fiji folks to start playing.
Everybody good? Jon, so what's the process like for you just joining a team at this stage in camp, getting caught up everything, but also still trying to kind of show out, make sure they know you play?
Football's football. Realistically, it hasn't been a hard transition. It's actually been kind of easy for me. It's just, everything they've kind of thrown at me, I've picked up. Playing, all the positions they've asked me to play. I've been around. I've had good teachers. From Little League to high school to college. And since I've been in the NFL, like I've had a lot of good teachers that, they don't just teach you, the names of the plays and everything. They teach you the concepts. So if you can understand the concepts in between, the plays, it makes it that easier to pick up because, what we call red here, we might just call it blue, in Washington or, any other places. So, it's, like I said, transition's been easy. And then, obviously, it's a lot of good coaches on the staff, like really, really good, and that's, I definitely mean that because to be able to kind of break stuff down, how they do, like you got a lot of guys that come from a lot of different places and kind of, put a scheme together and, lets the guys play fast.
So would you say then it's more of a vocabulary thing than a scheme thing, really figuring everything out here?
Yeah, 100%. I mean, that's everywhere. It's realistically, it's more, if you can pick up the wording, the checks and, all that stuff. Schematics is schematics. Like I said, it's only a certain number of ways you can play cover 3. It's only a certain number of ways you can play cover 2. It's just, who's got it, in this defense, who's got it in that defense. So,
Jon, as you're waiting, what were you doing? Where were you? And also, what was it like, I guess, to jump in that first day, even though you get the excitement, but you jump in on the first day pretty much, cold?
I mean, I've been training, we knew it was going to, come, but the time has been perfect. I've been working on stuff, outside of, football as well, and, which has allowed me to kind of take care of that stuff right before I got to camp, which was the good thing. So timing was literally, couldn't be any better, on that. But, I've been down in South Florida training, so a lot of heat was, a lot like today. You get that humidity, but, now it's just getting in football shape.
Was the timing perfect just because, the vet guys don't need that first 2 weeks? Or?
Nah, for me, I love football. I love being around the guys, I know it's a different day and age, but this is, you got some people, they like football. You got some people that love football. And for me, like, I love football. I love being around, the game. It's like chess, being able to compete. You don't get that everywhere.
Jon, you have any past relationship with DeMario Davis? Did you know him, or is this the first time you met up with him, or what?
I watched him on film, and I was a big fan of him when he, was with the Jets back in the day, and I still wonder how, he got let go, there. But obviously, this place has been, good to have, and, to be able to have a guy like that in the room that's got a lot of years like I do, he's good at what he does. I mean, I learned, a bunch of stuff from him already just by watching.
Jon, a lot of guys have spoken today about the tough weather adjustment from Green Bay to New Orleans. What's your take on just New Orleans in general, weather including or excluding?
I like it, being down, from the University of Florida, you get a lot of weather like this. When you have, tough training camp practices like this, day in and day out, anywhere else you go, it's easy. It's like make it hard now. So, when the season comes, we got to go down. Obviously, we got to go down to Florida. But as the season goes, we're in better shape because we've been in these practices already. Then all of a sudden, we got to go, up north, or when the weather does get better, we can run all day.
Who's been your go-to guy just for like general questions like where should I go eat in New Orleans or things like that? Like, who have you talked to about that kind of stuff?
I haven't even like really kind of been on the outskirts. I mean, sure, I don't even have a car here yet. Most of my stuff has just been on the bus. Food at the hotel or up here at the facility. I'm not too complicated. I mean, I love to eat, but right now I gotta take care of business here and then I'll worry about that later. So.
Do you just like the chess metaphor, or do you actually like chess?
I actually like chess.
You do?
Yeah, I would say back in the day I was in a chess club, so.
You were?
Yeah.
Okay. Cool.
Yeah.
So do you want to expand on any of the similarities you see between playing chess and playing football?
I mean, at the line of scrimmage. I mean, for me, I've always been a play caller, everywhere I've been. And my knowledge of the defense and, some of the defensive coordinators that I've had, they've given us a lot of leeway at the line of scrimmage. Putting yourself in the best front. Sometimes, hey, look, if you got a big counter team, instead of, playing with a 1 in the 5 backside, and now you got this tackle climbing up at you, if you put a 3 technique over there, now he's got to block the 3 technique, allows you to come over the top clean. So these are like the chess matches that are, play at the line of scrimmage, and, it's easier for us to see them, because, we're in the, the thick of things, but that's kind of where I see it, how it kind of plays in, because, I mean, you go against a guy like Rodgers, I mean, you don't know what's fake, you don't know what's real. You know, sometimes, you know, this call's live this week, you know, and it means this, and all of a sudden, you know, you jump it thinking it means this, and now it's a double move off of it, and you know, so that's what I think the fun part of football really is. So,
what would be the chess equivalent of a zero blitz? I'm just kidding.
I was just going to follow up. It seems like you mostly played like in 3-4 fronts. Is that fair to say with some of the defenses you've been in, or has it kind of been varied as far as in what they do here, maybe with like a 4-2-5? How many different like fronts have you played in?
To be honest, I played in everything. I played in everything. I think that's what, you know, has really helped me throughout my career. When I first came in, you know, I was in a Tampa 2 defense in Chicago. So a lot of what we did in Chicago and the film that we watched was always New Orleans film, because, you know, they were a heavy, you know, 4-3 team. They ran a lot of 4-2-5 like we did in our sub packages. And then we had a lot of coaches that kind of came from under this tree and were in Chicago. So it was a lot of carryover. So, you know, I played in, you know, 4-3 defense then I played in a couple 3-4 defenses. You know, in college, we played both. You know, we were a team, partly because our linebackers were smart, we could run both fronts. You know, it's like sometimes you get these teams that like to trade tight ends, you know, in and out. You know, so in college, if a team traded tight end, you know, we might go from a 3-4 to a 4-3, you know, just to be able to mess with them as well. So football is football. I know a lot of people kind of make a big deal out of 3-4 and 4-3, but to be honest, the defensive linemen have just moved over like a tiny bit. You know, it's really no difference. So.
You know, one thing I heard out on the field today was the defense was yelling, "Don't take the cheese, we want the money."
Yeah.
What exactly does that mean?
So like in zone defense, zone defense, you're gonna have 2 routes. You know, the way the offense is trying to work a zone, you're gonna have an underneath guy, and you're gonna have a guy that comes up top. You know, the underneath guy is gonna look good. It's just like, you know, when you have a little rat, you put the cheese out there and it looks good, and they go and get it, and then you got the trap that goes on you. Understand, when you jump on that low route, they're gonna hit that dig right behind you. You know, that's the big play. That's what they're looking for. You know, offenses, they don't want to go, you know, 10, 12, 15 plays down the field because they're going to mess up. You know, and if we can make them go 10, 12, 15 plays down the field, we're going to get a holding penalty. Somebody's going to jump off sides. Somebody's going to drop the ball. We're going to get them in 2nd, 3rd, and long. You know, and then that's when those pass rushers, you know, can go eat.
Thanks, Jeff.
Yes, sir.
Thank you, man.
Yes, sir.